Team USA is forcing Caitlin Clark.
You are not going to believe the chaos erupting right now. Sue Bird, yes, that's Sue Bird, one of the most respected figures in the entire history of women's basketball, is reportedly in the middle of an absolute public meltdown. And honestly, no one, not even her harshest critics, could have predicted the level of turmoil happening behind the scenes. Because the bombshell that just dropped is nothing short of historic. According to multiple reports, Caitlin Clark has delivered Team USA a blunt, take-it-or-leave-it ultimatum. If she isn't allowed to wear her iconic number 22 jersey, she is done. Completely out. Walking away from Team USA for good. And Sue Bird's reaction? It has sent shockwaves ripping across the entire sports world. As the managing director, she's said to be scrambling in full damage control mode, trying desperately to put out a fire that is spreading faster than anyone can contain. What's happening isn't just tense, it's volatile. It's explosive. And it's escalating far faster than anyone expected. Let's be absolutely clear, this isn't petty drama. This isn't a small disagreement. This is spiraling into what may be the single biggest crisis women's basketball has faced in the modern era. Team USA, one of the most powerful, dominant programs in global sports, is now standing on the edge of a cliff, all because of one number and one superstar's refusal to compromise. Behind closed doors, things reportedly got heated. Very heated. Sources say Caitlin laid everything out bluntly. No number 22. No Caitlin Clark. Period. End of conversation. And the moment she said it, everything changed. Because you have to understand, Clark isn't just another player. She is the most powerful force in women's basketball right now. She drives ratings. She sells out arenas. She moves merchandise like no one else in the sport's history. She has become the face of an entire generation of new fans. Which means Team USA isn't just facing a jersey dispute. They're facing the possibility of losing the most influential athlete in the sport. At the very moment, they are trying to rebuild the next decade of dominance around her. And Sue Bird? She is reportedly furious, shocked, blindsided, and scrambling for answers. This situation is unraveling faster than anyone at Team USA can stabilize it. Coaches, executives, and marketing staff are all panicking because they know what's at stake. Without Clark, the entire program looks weaker, smaller, and less relevant on the world stage. So the question becomes, is Caitlin Clark justified? Did Team USA underestimate the influence she holds? Or is this a moment where personal pride is threatening to tear apart the most dominant dynasty in women's sports? Before we continue deeper into Sue Bird's reaction and how Team USA is trying to contain this crisis, tell me seriously, if you were in Caitlin's position, would you walk away over your jersey number?
Because we ultimately know she was snubbed from the cover of Team USA. And not only is they snubbing her, the disrespect is continuing because it's looking like Team USA is forcing Caitlin Clark to change her number. Now, this article has
Team USA has managed to stumble into the biggest self-inflicted crisis women's basketball has seen in years. And the wild part is that every ounce of this chaos could have been avoided with 1 ounce of common sense. Instead, the people running the show made the kind of decision that leaves fans, analysts, and half the internet staring at their screens wondering if anyone in charge has actually watched the sport over the last 2 years. The disaster started with a baffling mandate. Caitlin Clark, the most influential, most followed, most game-changing star in women's basketball right now, was told she would not be allowed to wear her iconic number 22 during the December training camp. This isn't just some number stitched onto a jersey. It's the symbol fans identify instantly. It's the number that built a brand, boosted TV ratings to levels nobody imagined, and sold out arenas everywhere she went. If there's anyone on earth who shouldn't be asked to change their number, it's her. Yet that's exactly what Team USA tried to do. According to people extremely close to the situation, Caitlin's reaction was immediate and firm. If she's not wearing her number, she's not showing up. No theatrics, no drama. Just a clean, non-negotiable line. She's earned the right to draw that line, and she knows it. Meanwhile, the fallout behind closed doors has been nothing short of explosive. Sue Bird, Team USA's managing director, and one of the most respected figures the sport has ever known, is reportedly scrambling. Not irritated, not mildly stressed, fully losing her grip on the situation as she tries to understand how a single jersey decision spiraled into a national controversy. What was supposed to be a smooth, strategic training camp has turned into a full-on emergency. And here's what makes the whole thing even more absurd. This is not a story about a number. It's a story about respect. Or, rather, the stunning lack of it. To ask Caitlin Clark to abandon the one symbol that defines her career, her image, and her connection with millions of fans is being widely viewed as tone-deaf at best and intentionally disrespectful at worst. It suggests that the people in charge still don't fully understand the generational phenomenon they're dealing with. This is the player bringing record-breaking audiences to every game she touches. The player carrying the sport into a new era. The player whose popularity is lifting everyone around her. And instead of nurturing that, they chose to restrict it. So now the entire basketball world is holding its breath, watching a showdown that never should have existed. A superstar drawing a boundary, a legendary figure scrambling to fix a mistake, and a national team facing the possibility of losing the very athlete the world tunes in to see.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not a very creative person. I was born on January 22nd, so it's what I went with when I was about 5 years old.
This absolute bombshell of a story dropped just as the entire basketball world was gearing up for Team USA's critical training camp in North Carolina, a camp scheduled for December 12th through the 14th. And honestly, when you think about what this camp was supposed to be, the irony becomes almost unbelievable. This wasn't supposed to be drama. This wasn't supposed to be chaos. This camp was meant to be a celebration. A 3-day showcase of world-class talent, the kind of event fans wait all year for. A stage filled with generational stars like Paige Bueckers, Juju Watkins, and so many others. A moment that was supposed to highlight the future of women's basketball. But instead, in the blink of an eye, that celebration turned into a crisis. A completely avoidable, completely bizarre controversy that now threatens the participation of the biggest name in the entire sport. As reports began to surface, fans were stunned to learn about a shocking mandate. One that would strip Caitlin Clark of the number that has become inseparable from her identity. Number 22 isn't just a number for her. It's a symbol. It's history. It's a signature she built during her record-shattering run at Iowa and continued dominating with in the WNBA. And the timing of this decision? Absolutely mind-blowing. It comes at the exact moment her fame is exploding on a global level. The moment her influence is peaking. The moment millions of new fans are discovering the sport because of her. Instead of embracing that momentum, Team USA somehow chooses the worst possible time to tell her to give up the symbol she made iconic. Unsurprisingly, the reaction has been volcanic. Her rapidly growing army of supporters, one of the most passionate fan bases women's sports has ever seen, is flooding social media right now. They're furious. They're shocked. And more than anything, they are loudly urging Caitlin to stand her ground and refuse to compromise on something that feels so fundamental to who she is as an athlete. Because to them, this isn't just about a jersey number. It's about respect. It's about recognition. It's about treating the sport's biggest star like she's earned the status she brings into every single arena she walks into. And right now, those fans believe Team USA has crossed a line. They believe this decision isn't just tone-deaf. They believe it's disrespectful, unnecessary, and deeply out of touch with the moment the sport is in. And if Caitlin Clark decides to walk away from this training camp, if she actually chooses not to show up, it won't be her career that takes the hit. It'll be Team USA. And the ripple effect will be massive.
We made the Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark. Number 22 is the most recognizable number in women's sports right now. There is no argument to be made. There's no case to be made. Caitlin Clark, number 22, is the most recognizable number for any woman athlete in.
Let's make something absolutely unquestionably clear from a start, because this is the foundation of the entire firestorm currently tearing through women's basketball. Caitlin Clark's number 22 is not just a pair of digits stitched onto the back of a jersey. It is, without exaggeration, the single most iconic, instantly recognizable number in all of women's sports today. You can argue about almost anything in sports, but this is not up for debate. There is no counter-argument strong enough to refute the reality that 22 is hers, historically, symbolically, and culturally. From the very moment she stepped onto the national stage at the University of Iowa, Caitlin Clark didn't just wear the number 22. She transformed it. Every deep-range three-pointer that scraped the clouds before swishing through the net, every cross-court laser pass that stunned defenders, every record-breaking performance that left arenas shaking, all of it has been tied to that number. It became part of her identity in the same way Jordan became 23 and Kobe became 24. You don't separate the athlete from the symbol. They rise together. And when she entered the WNBA, the number only grew in power. As the Indiana Fever exploded in popularity, selling out arenas, boosting TV ratings, and bringing millions of new fans into the sport, that number 22 became the beacon people look for. It's what kids now write on their homemade signs. It's what fans wear on shirts, hoodies, and jerseys. It's what brands build marketing campaigns around. It is the visual shorthand for everything Caitlin represents. Fearlessness, creativity, precision, and the electric energy that follows her everywhere she goes. To her supporters, a global, rapidly expanding army. That number symbolizes a legacy being built in real time. It's not nostalgia. It's not a throwback. It's a living phenomenon. Whether someone is sitting in the top row of a sold-out arena, streaming a game on their phone from another continent, or debating the GOAT conversation online. The moment they see that 22, they know exactly who it points to. And that's why Team USA's decision to strip her of it hit like a cultural earthquake. This wasn't just inconvenient. This wasn't just a request. This was, in the eyes of millions, a deep, unnecessary, almost tone-deaf act of disrespect toward the very player who has elevated the entire sport to historic heights. Removing that number isn't a minor adjustment. It's ripping away a core piece of her identity. It's telling the most influential athlete of her generation to dim her own spotlight, to step back, to shrink her brand at the exact moment it's shining brightest. Fans see that. The sport sees that. The world sees that. And that's why the reaction has been explosive. Because this isn't just about digits on a jersey. It's about legacy, respect, and the unmistakable power of a symbol that changed the game.
Clark to wear number 17 at Team USA training camp. On December 24th, news broke that Caitlin Clark will be taking a part in the training, which that's what we talked about at the beginning of the video. Now, this right here this came out this came out on the 24th. So these are the numbers, man. Head on over to Twitter and check this out real quick. So this is what was released right here. It says Lauren Betts. Hold on, here's the ages. Where's the number? Here we go, right here. So these are the numbers. Caitlin Clark. Let me blow this all the way up, man. I want to blow this all the way up so y'all can see this. So as y'all can see there, man, how did Caitlin Clark's number will be changed? So who's wearing 22? Or if you guys remember, Michael Jordan wore number 45 in the Olympics to Caitlin, because it don't look like no one's wearing number 22.
Let's break down this situation from the very beginning, because what is unfolding right now isn't just another minor sports headline. It is a full-scale, self-inflicted crisis that has exploded inside USA basketball, one that involves the biggest name in women's sports, the most influential organization in the country, and a decision so baffling that fans, analysts, and even former players are still trying to understand how it was allowed to happen. The entire firestorm began just as Team USA was preparing for what was supposed to be a pivotal, celebratory training camp in North Carolina. Scheduled from December 12th to December 14th, the camp was meant to be a showcase of the sport's brightest young stars, Paige Bueckers, Juju Watkins, Cameron Brink, and of course, the global phenomenon herself, Caitlin Clark. It was designed to be a moment of unity, excitement, and anticipation for the future of women's basketball. Instead, in the blink of an eye, the camp was overshadowed by a controversy so unexpected and so unnecessary that it has now become the most talked-about storyline in the entire basketball world. The spark that lit the fuse. Reports began to surface, revealing that USA Basketball had made a stunning decision. Caitlin Clark would not be allowed to wear her iconic number 22 jersey. Instead, she was reportedly assigned number 17 for the training camp roster. Number 17, a number that has zero connection to her identity, zero relationship to her brand, and zero meaning to the fans who have followed her rise from college superstar to professional icon. But the shock didn't end there. What turned this from a questionable decision into a full-blown public disaster was the revelation that no other player on the roster was wearing number 22. The number wasn't claimed. It wasn't reserved. It was simply left empty. Fans immediately understood what that meant. This wasn't about logistics. It wasn't about availability. This was a choice, and a deeply disrespectful one. With that realization came the wave of anger, confusion, and frustration that now dominates every corner of social media. Why number 22 matters more than Team USA expected. To understand why this decision triggered such explosive backlash, you have to understand what the number 22 represents. It is not an ordinary jersey number, not for Caitlin, not for her fans, and not for the sport. Number 22 is the symbol of an entire era in women's basketball. It represents the viral half-court shots that broke social media records. It represents the 40-point performances on national television that shattered viewership milestones. It represents the rise of a superstar whose influence has extended far beyond sports and into global pop culture. Just as Michael Jordan is permanently linked with number 23, just as Kobe Bryant's 24 is etched into basketball history, Caitlin Clark has built a legacy around number 22 that millions of fans instantly recognize. When she steps onto the court wearing that jersey, the world knows exactly who she is, the most electrifying player of her generation. Taking that number away, especially without a legitimate reason or a prior claim, is equivalent to demanding that a musician abandon their signature song or an author change the title of their most famous book. It is an attack on identity, on brand, and on everything that has made Caitlin such a monumental figure. The explosion behind the scenes. According to individuals close to the situation, Caitlin's reaction was direct, decisive, and unapologetically firm. She made it clear that if she couldn't wear her number, she wasn't going to participate. And that is when the internal panic reportedly began. Sue Bird, one of the most respected figures in women's basketball and the current managing director of Team USA, now finds herself at the center of a crisis that the organization created entirely on its own. While her legacy as a player is unquestioned, her leadership in this moment is being scrutinized like never before. Sources describe her reaction as ranging from frustrated to deeply alarmed, as she works behind the scenes attempting to repair the damage and keep Caitlin involved in Team USA's future plans, without undermining whatever questionable policy led to this conflict. But here's the harsh truth. Caitlin Clark has all the leverage in this situation, and Team USA has none. She doesn't need the organization to validate her career. She doesn't need the Olympics for prestige. She doesn't need the national program to elevate her profile. She's already done all of that for herself. Who needs who? The power dynamic has shifted. Team USA has long held the position of ultimate authority in women's basketball. Making the Olympic roster was once considered the pinnacle of a player's career. It was an honor, a privilege, a moment of national pride. But the rise of Caitlin Clark has changed the landscape completely. Right now, she is the #1 ratings draw in women's sports. She is the player whose name alone sells out arenas. She is the athlete whose jersey shatters merchandise records. She is, quite simply, the engine driving the sport's unprecedented growth. If she walks away, it is Team USA, not Caitlin Clark, who suffers the most. They lose their biggest attraction. They lose millions in potential viewership. They lose the ability to capitalize on the global momentum she has created. They lose the face of the new generation. Sue Bird knows that. The organization knows that. The fans know that. And Caitlin knows it too. This isn't just about a number, it's about respect. The number issue is merely the spark. The larger frustration stems from what appears to be a recurring pattern of undervaluing Caitlin Clark's influence. Earlier in the year, fans were stunned when she wasn't selected for the Olympic roster despite her historic popularity and undeniable impact on the sport. That snub left many questioning whether the leadership within USA Basketball was reluctant to fully embrace the power and visibility Caitlin brings to the table. Now this number controversy has become a second blow, one that feels even more avoidable and senseless. To force the most influential athlete in the sport to surrender the symbol most closely tied to her identity, especially when no one else is using it, feels like an act of control rather than a matter of policy. It raises uncomfortable questions. Is Team USA threatened by her popularity? Are they attempting to humble the player who has become bigger than the organization itself? Is this an old guard versus new era clash playing out in public? Whether intentional or not, the message many fans see is clear. We're in charge, and your stardom doesn't give you special treatment. And Caitlin's alleged response, "Then I don't need to be here," has only intensified the drama. A much bigger problem. The message it sends to every player. This incident does not exist in a vacuum. It taps directly into the long-standing grievances within the WNBA and women's basketball as a whole. Players have spent years battling for respect, for visibility, and for recognition equal to the contributions they make to the sport.